The dark side of NoFap. I did tell you that NoFap had made a positive difference in my life, but there's a lot I left out. Unfortunately, the negative aspects of NoFap also hurt me, and they're numerous. In addition to that, I want to tell you about flatline. A flatline is a symbol of death, right? In other words, the term flatline can also be felt when you're experiencing NoFap. About a month's worth of NoFap is expected. Ironically, all the benefits of NoFap, which I detailed in my previous video, including higher testosterone levels, greater motivation, less depression, and an overall sense of well-being, actually work against you when you start visiting the various harmful sites dedicated to NoFap. That's a lot of negatives. That's a flatline. I'm going to go into detail about this. Your brain has become accustomed to the massive artificial release of neurochemicals that causes the feeling of pleasure. It seems to offset the pain from when you first started staring at a screen, be it a year or 2 years, a decade, or even 2 decades ago. Furthermore, it has formed a connection between your brain and the screen, making your brain yearn for its former love interest, the screen. Or you might say pornography and masturbation. That's exactly what it is. So when you stop doing that as part of a pornography recovery or a reboot, your system no longer receives this massive amount of neurochemicals, or oxytocin, as it's accustomed to. As a result, the curve of neurochemicals released is now flat. The result is that you feel terrible most of the time, and that your sexual libido plummets. Your libido drops off significantly. Your ability to get and keep an erection and everything else will suffer if your brain stops receiving that neurochemical release. That is why it's called flatline. You won't be able to get to sleep tonight. Feeling exhausted and tired is a symptom of having a brain fog that prevents you from thinking clearly, and consequently, from falling asleep. Have you ever had one of those days where you can't focus on anything? Where you feel like you're stuck in a mental fog and nothing you seem to do makes a difference? If so, then you've clearly experienced a brain fog. It can make it difficult for you to think clearly, remember things, and stay motivated. Fortunately, there are a few simple things to help you clear the fog and get back on track. First, try to get enough sleep each night if you can. Second, eat healthy foods that provide the nutrients your brain needs to function properly. And finally, take some time each day to relax and de-stress. Taking these steps can help keep brain fog at bay and stay productive throughout the day. On the other hand, these tips may not help. You're trying to get some real rest, but you can't seem comfortable enough to sleep. You'll be craving fatty, sugary, salty foods. You'll feel low and anxious, and your muscles will feel weak and unmotivated. But if you still have some will left in you, choose to do the first 3 that I mentioned. During my time, I felt like I had the flu, and know numerous others who had also been affected. Around day 200, all these things hit me very hard, and I felt very frail. In many ways, I felt helpless, and my life was spinning out of my hands. I felt so exhausted, down, and weak in the morning that I couldn't drag myself to school. I was a complete and useless heap of human filth. I couldn't get out of bed, put on clothing, or even brush my teeth. A flatline is when you feel complete and utterly worthless. It's challenging. So you make the most of every day of happiness and craziness by working out frequently and pushing yourself to your physical limits. When you think you've reached the pinnacle of success, reality will set in with a resounding flatline, a mind-blowing revelation that will make you pause. It's challenging to move past a flatline, but it's even more challenging to work your way out of one on your own. Times like this are great when you have a group that will help you be accountable. When you can rely on others for help, it seems considerably less challenging to get through NoFap or to initiate NoFap. If you always have somebody to help you, clear your thoughts, keep you in check, you won't have to worry about losing your bearings. Joining is the first step, and it's a good one. This group has helped me out on the last 10 separate occasions. Of course, there are other ways to sidestep a flatline. If you're trending downward, how can you avoid relapsing, besides fixing the issue? This is the most crucial advice I can provide you during the flatline. As of right now, you must document the inception of your NoFap status before reaching the flatline. In my case, I didn't start performing well until day 31. And by that point, I thought, oh man, I'm kind of late on this. So I wrote down the reason I started NoFap. And it's pretty powerful because I'm already on day 33 and I will only be on air for a little bit longer. It's probably not worth it to do it. At day 300, I've been recording for almost a year straight. The gap between 30 days and a year is enormous. So if you're under 60, write down why you're not already on NoFap and why you want to start. Record this in your notebooks, diaries, note-taking app, or better yet, in the discussion thread below this video. Describe the inspiration behind your NoFap and the significance it holds for you. Save the image to your phone by taking a screenshot. This is your significant cause. This is the single most helpful piece of advice I can offer. Why did you start your journey in the first place? What was your motivation? When you fail, it's easy to forget you're doing what you're doing. That's why it's also important to have a reminder of why you started in the first place. It can be anything. A picture, a quote, a song, anything that will remind you of your original motivation. When you feel like giving up, look at your reminder and remember why you started the journey. It'll give you the strength to keep going. After experiencing the brain fog, melancholy, worry, and anything else I said earlier, you'll forget why you started NoFap. This isn't a minor problem. Everyone says that getting started with NoFap is easy. All you have to do is start. Try not to freak out. This won't amount to anything. It's not just a trend, it's a lifestyle from which you'll benefit so significantly that you'll stay committed until you die at age 80. This isn't just a test. It's an opportunity to take an honest look at yourself and admit, okay, PMO is actually damaging me. I promise myself that I'll never do this again, and then I never do it again. If I look back on this in 60 days, 500 days, 5,000 days, I'll know why I wrote this down in the first place. You will never stray far from your original path or destination and never give up your indomitable spirit. You won't stray from the way or do anything against your will because you know where you came from, and you recorded the inspiration for your no effort and the thoughts in some random dudes on YouTube. First, you should jot down the initial inspiration for beginning this endeavor. The second stage is identifying a group of reliable friends or signing up for Discord. The problem was that I only had 3 close friends that were also trying to start NoFap and failing. After being sober for 320 days, I confided in my friends that they would always be there for me. And if I ever felt the need to say, yo, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling miserable, I feel like I have to go break my streak, redirect your thoughts until you're completely sober. I'm going to keep calling you. You're not going to do it. Today is day 16 rather than day 24. You've put in a lot of effort over the past few weeks. Why throw it all away? If you have a friend who is also doing NoFap, hold them accountable by asking what made them trigger. As you embark on your NoFap journey, it's important to be aware of the triggers that can lead to a relapse. For some people, certain sights or sounds can be highly triggering, while others, it may be a specific time of day or feeling of boredom. It's essential to take the time to identify your triggers and avoid them. One way to do this is to keep a log of your thoughts and feelings when struggling with the urge to relapse. This can help you identify patterns and pinpoint what sets off your cravings. Once you know your triggers, you can develop strategies for avoiding them. This may involve changing your routine, blocking out trigger words or images, or spending more time in activities that make you feel good about yourself. By taking the time to identify and avoid your triggers, you'll be one step closer to completing your NoFap journey. Because of this, I was able to enlist the aid of such friends for which I will be eternally grateful. And currently, I serve as just such a friend to my circle of friends. When you're studying for a test or trying to achieve an ambitious goal like mine, to go forever and become a fastronaut, having friends to share your interests may be a considerable boost. It's as if surrounding yourself with the people who share your values guarantees you'll achieve more success than you would otherwise. Companionship is key to when it comes to achieving success in any area of life, and that includes NoFap. It can be difficult to stick to your goals when you feel like you're the only one trying, but having companionship makes the journey much easier. Having like-minded people to support and encourage you provides motivation to keep you going even when things get tough. Additionally, it's helpful to have someone to talk to about your progress and setbacks. Having a support system makes the entire progress much more enjoyable and makes it more likely that you'll achieve your long-term goals. Those are the 2 things I suggest doing to break past a plateau if they weren't available. To go through a flat line is a mental challenge and a potential streak breaker. But if you follow my 2 steps, you should be alright, and you ought to be able to make it through a challenging month of flatlining on your own or with the support of a handful of friends. Are you addicted to pornography? You're not alone. In the next video, I'm going to share the dangers of porn addiction and how it can ruin your life. If you or someone you know is struggling with porn addiction, please watch this video and reach out for help.